Hi, folks, and welcome back to another EDGEy conversation. We're here in early March, and I'm really excited to be joined by Jill Hodgins, who is the Executive Director at Camp Kee Mo Kee in Ontario. And she's going to take the chance today to tell us a little bit about the work that they're doing over at camp and what's been going on in their community. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Jill. Tell us about yourself and tell us about what your community has been up to.
Okay, well, I've been executive director with Camp Kee Mo Kee for just over 3 years, and it's been a totally transitional time from when I started to now. When I began with the camp, it was the first time they had an executive director, and they were mainly an overnight summer camp with some shoulder season like school groups and things like that. And now we've expanded into a summer overnight, summer day camp with off-season programming and more community outreach. So we've gone from being very cocooned to expanding into the community. And COVID forced us to kind of do that because we couldn't have people on site. So we had to connect with people in a different way. So it's been a really exciting 3 years for me with the camp to see this transition and the change. So it's exciting.
Wow, that's really phenomenal. I'm excited to hear about all the ways you folks have expanded. And I know earlier we were chatting a little bit about some new programs that have started over the last year. What are those programs and what's that been like?
Yeah, well, on top of the day camp program, which we did in 2021, a couple really exciting things we did with support from Embracing the Spirit was a youth job search skills workshop. So it was online and it was a 4-session workshop series that we ran twice in the fall. And we had young people, 15, 16, 17-year-olds join us for job search skills and resume development and interview practice. So each session focused on a different aspect of that and just to help them be job ready. And it also helped some of our own staff be ready to prepare to apply to come to camp this year as well. So it's a program we're going to continue in an online format. We'll be running it again in April this year and then again in the fall next year. And it's been a really good way, it's free of charge and just outreach, and we're engaging some high school students, some of our staff, some new people. So it's just been a really great way to be of service to the young people in our community. We also just finished actually a winter camping program. We are not a winterized site. We are summer only. So at this time of year, we have no water. We have porta potties that we brought in, but we have no heat or air conditioning, nothing like that. So the winter camping program was an idea to engage our older campers or future leaders in the camp in the off season to keep those teens connected and use the site in a different way as well. So we had the funding from Embracing the Spirit, where we were able to purchase the equipment that's needed for winter camping, because that's a barrier for a lot of kids. Good cold weather sleeping bags and tents and sleeping pads are not inexpensive if you want something that's good quality. So we were able to purchase that and then do some program development and bring in staff for it. We were hoping for 5 campers minimum to run the program. Our goal was to get 10 and we actually had 12.
Wow.
So they did the first couple Saturdays were just coming out, learning the skills. And then on family day weekend, they came out and stayed night and had a great time. There was nothing like arriving at camp on that Sunday morning with the sun shining and yellow tents all over the place and lots of laughter. So it was a good program. And it's definitely something we'll continue in the future too. It's unique. Not many kids get that opportunity to learn those skills, and not a lot of parents want to do that. So yeah. So, and then even right now we have March break day camp at the camp. And again, it's not winterized, and the kids came ready to be outside all day, which today was a little colder, and I think it'll be pretty muddy by the end of the week. But again, it's something we've never done before and never thought of doing, just because of the restrictions of not having the water on site. But we've overcome that barrier, and we have 30 campers and 5 staff working this week.
Wow.
So yes, we're trying to do things that we we haven't done before. We had family day. We had 95 people out just for a free community come and have a campfire and hike the trails
Mhm.
thing. So a lot of families came out for that. And then we're trying to get into the churches a bit. We had planned at Christmas to take camp to churches
Yeah.
and do just a 3 or 4 hour afternoon camp program.
Mhm.
And it was all set up, ready to go, but unfortunately, regulations shut it down. So again, it's expanding. It's trying new things and seeing what sticks, and
Mhm.
working more with our community and the churches in our community, um, and just trying to get people to know what our camp is about and where it is. Because we found that since we've been welcoming more people on the site in the past couple of years,
Mhm.
that people say, we drive by this place all the time. We didn't realize what was here. And we are very close to our neighboring communities, which is an advantage for us, that it is worthwhile for people to come out for an hour or two or part of a day, as opposed to having to drive to some of the camps that are further away.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so it's been a really good thing. And that I just told you, well, I just answered one of your later questions. You had said, what has been the most unexpected part of the
Yeah.
journey? And it's that learning that our location is a
Mm.
huge advantage when it comes to engaging the community. So was unexpected.
Mm.
But it's a positive thing as opposed to a negative unexpected thing.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
great to hear, and like really exciting to hear about all the different ways that you folks are supporting, youth to stay engaged through like actual experiential things of coming out and doing this winter camping, which I'm like, I wish I was a youth and I could come out and do that with you folks.
Yeah.
And then also the flip side of doing some of this like job readiness stuff, which also helps, I imagine, support your leadership at camp, but also just helps kids in general get set up well for their future.
Yeah, yeah, and some of the participants in that program, in both those programs, were our
Yeah.
already campers or future leaders, but some of them were just people who wanted to do something different. And a lot of camps are talking about concerns about staffing for this year after being
Mhm.
closed or partially closed for the past 2 years. We've sort of lost some of the progression
Yeah.
from camper to counselor in training to leader in training to staff person. And so trying to engage that age group more
Mhm.
is a way that we're trying to minimize the impact of that loss of progression. And then it's also engaging our existing staff throughout the year, because it's giving them, we had to hire some staff to come in and work these programs. And so it's keeping them connected too. So they're more likely to come back the following summer.
Yeah.
So there is strategy involved, but it's also about just giving kids a different opportunity.
Wow, that's really exciting. Very cool.
Yeah.
One of the questions we ask folks sometimes, like, what has been the faith journey here, or where has the spirit been alive in the work that you're doing in your community?
And I think it's about the stewardship and service
Mm.
piece is what we're doing. So by having more people visit our site through community events and even the off-season programs, we're engaging them with creation and God's natural world. And we're using that as a point of being able to teach people about how to
Mhm.
take care of the world. We're an environmentally protected area. And so we have people come on site and we share that with them, and we share what we're doing to create habitats and build a butterfly garden and protect the creek that runs through our camp. And so by doing that, we're teaching stewardship of God's creation to the people in the community, and then just trying to do things that relate more to truth and reconciliation and
Mm.
diversity and equity and inclusion, that are teaching those good Christian values
Yeah.
to everyone who comes to camp, that it is important to work on these things and involve the community in working on them with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What an exciting place to be for your camp. How long has camp been running? I know you've been there for 3 years. What has been the history for Camp Kee Mo Kee?
Camp Kee Mo Kee originally opened in 1960.
Wow.
So this is our 62nd year. Our neighbors donated the property. We have 20 acres,
Mhm.
and the family who donated it is still right next door, and they're still involved on the
Mhm.
board or just helping us out. Um, and they donated the property to the United Church to form a camp. And so we've been there for 62 years. And there are people around that were at the camp. That's it. One of our board members was at the camp in the first year.
Wow.
And we've had people involved with the camp for 20, 30 years. We have third generation campers coming to camp. So there is a nice legacy piece with our camp.
Mhm.
I go around the area and in London, because London's just 15 minutes away from the camp. And almost anywhere I go, people have a story about their experience or someone they know who came to Camp Kee Mo Kee.
Wow, that is an incredible legacy, and helps contextualize and really help all of us hear this piece of like, as we kind of leave COVID or trying to adjust to COVID, about how do we make sure that we continue this legacy for these kids, that they have opportunities for leadership and continued involvement with camp, as staff as they move forward. That's really exciting to hear.
Mhm.
And that kind of leads to my question, what's next for camp?
Well, this year we are keeping the day camp program that we did last year.
Mhm.
That was sort of meant to be a temporary measure, just to do something, because we weren't comfortable doing overnight camp last year with COVID and the restrictions and the guidelines. But it was wildly successful, the day camp program. And so we've taken some of our overnight camper spaces and allocated it to a day camp program on the weeks that traditionally don't fill.
Mhm.
Um, and so we're reaching out to a different customer or client base.
Mhm.
But hopefully those day campers will transition into staff and overnight campers, and just help build our community as well, because it's a whole new group of people that
Mhm.
came to the camp during day camp as well. And then we are looking at more ways to innovate and keep connecting with the community, and serving the churches and helping young people. So we will continue every program that we've tried this year. We are planning on continuing. And then we are excited about working with school groups again this year, because they haven't been able to come to the camp. And we're going to expand into fall school programming as well. So we're trying really to use the camp to its maximum capacity, given the restrictions of the facility, with the seasonality of it. And then we are also still looking for ways to connect offsite
Mm.
in the future,
Yeah.
and then just develop our the underrepresented populations at camp as well more, by giving incentives for Indigenous youth to participate in our program. And we actually are fully subsidizing about 48 camper spaces this summer for campers from First Nations communities, so that we can help engage and develop them into young leaders within our community.
Wow. That's
It's a
really
lot of
exciting.
random things.
Yeah, but I mean, this whole sense of cohesion about really being in the community, embedded in the community for this long time, and then thinking about how do we keep maintaining that legacy. It's exciting to hear all the different angles and ways that you folks are working to make that happen.
Yeah,
Wow.
and we're finding partnering with community organizations
Mm.
is strengthening what we do as well.
Yeah.
So we're collaborating as opposed to competing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, really exciting. And I mean, just massive congratulations on the success. It's great not only to run a successful program, but to run it and know that you're going to keep doing it or keep expanding it. So exciting to hear you had 12 kids come out for that winter camping experience, and that's something that will continue to happen at camp, and that kids can continue to access these job ready skills is so great. I'm excited to see what happens for you folks and to see where you go as this summer and as we navigate this post-COVID world. So that's really exciting. Is there anything else you would want us to know, or anything else you want to share?
Uh, there's so much, but you could talk for hours if you get going on something that you're passionate about. But just we're here. We expanded during COVID, and a lot of camps had to pivot and do different things.
Mhm.
And I'm really excited about what all of our United Church camps have done, because we've all collaborated together and talked things through together. And I think it's really exciting what's happening with the United Church camps right now as we come out of COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. Exciting to hear about how there might be opportunity for cross connection and ongoing support between different United Church camps as they all kind of make their way through this time together.
Yeah. Well, there was talk of trying to develop that more before COVID, but then it was hard to continue. We managed to squeeze in one in-person event with United Church Camps, which was nice for the directors and the executive directors. But yeah, no, it's something that we've been talking about and working towards, and that will continue. I think after COVID, that we'll develop a stronger connection across Canada with all of our camps.
Yeah, well, really exciting to look ahead and think about what possibility and potential exists there. For young people or for parents who are interested, where can they find out more information about camp and some of the stuff that's coming up?
I guess on our website and on our Facebook page, right? We do most of our marketing and communications through social media and our website. If they want to ask any direct questions, they can always email us at info@keemokee.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jill. It was really great to hear your story, which was a very small piece of what I think is a very big story for your community, but grateful for the time to have that shared with all of us today, and excited to keep watching what happens for Camp Kee Mo Kee over the next few months and years. So thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Zoe.